everybody. You gotta be doing this at home. It
Full
gotta be
time,
real to
yeah.
you. It's just not
Right.
this is just not nothing I play with, Maso, or take lightly, or I would do like I tell you a lot more. When people be talking about they got to be initiated and all this, I said the only initiation is honesty and understanding who you are and being honest in what we're doing. It ain't no jumping through no loops. This ain't when people and I'm always a stiffler of words when the people say cult. And I say, well, everything you're dealing with is a cult because the etymology of cult is culture. So we got to get all these negative connotations that the European or this so-called English language, and we don't even research anything. But what I'm trying to say is we ain't with no goofy stuff, is what I'm
Right.
saying.
Right.
So we are a movement of people that's doing things that's actually building. So
Well,
absolutely, and I support higher education. I support expiring extra wisdom to add in with what we're doing. Hell, most people
yeah.
do other things that make no sense.
As long.
I chose academia for a reason, and I tell everyone I love academia. I didn't go to college to ask for a good job. And so
Right.
you have to have a motive in everything you're doing. And once you understand who you are and anything that you're doing you're going in to master that and to make you a better individual, not to for no check. Because when you get the wisdom and the understanding, Maso, I tell every more, money is not earned, it's given. And they don't understand that science when I speak like that. I say you have to understand that. Because it's not enough money that a person can pay you. Is it, Maso?
Not at all.
Is it, Empress?
Well,
You see?
and then
So
you'll never find that fulfillment. Because that's the thing.
no.
We jump from job to job, career, thinking it's a career. You said it's not a career. It's not your. It's still no fulfillment in it.
So a lot of people be afraid to succeed. Like for instance, when a lot of people are settled in a dead end job and complain.
Right.
And it's like we must aspire to be great. Like that's something it's like everything I talk about is action, love, wanting to be a part of it, wanting to do this. Like we are adults and we operate just like that. I'm just trying to wait for everybody to come in. We got a couple more minutes and we're gonna get right into our Morris American prayer. Actually, it's 4:37, so let's jump into it before we proceed, nobles.
Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Nabi Ali, Shalom Aleichem, Haya Asha'aya, Shalom Wadu, Hotep, peace, 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 Islam.
Peace, 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 my Morris family. I love y'all. And to our Empress, I love you, Empress. We're gonna jump right back into where we were left off at. I won't say left off, but I'm gonna have a topic and what we like to call in scholarship a subtopic. But I'm gonna intertwine both because they both, how can I say, they coexist. I'm going to come a little bit from a little bit of light of Ali, some of the science that I gathered and compiled. You guys should have those books, but I'm going to come from some wisdom, some synchronized wisdom, and just to get us thinking. Like I said, I'm also on YouTube. If any more want my gathered and compiled books, you can get all 9 of them for a $75 donation. Cash App $KG Bay. Then send the screenshot to Goodman, KHARY, at gmail.com. And we'll politely email you your PDF books right there. We also have a library where we have a plethora of books that you can look on Amazon that'd be for thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, and you can get for a smaller contribution. Understand the value of having something. Understand the value of not only you having it, but you can able to share it with somebody else for a small donation and keep what you have. That's my mom calling. But so
Islam.
I want that to be understood. But I want to talk about the balanced life. The balanced life. because a lot of us are out of whack, especially as adults. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Well, what you doing? It be real life with me. I love it.
Islam.
But the balanced life. I brought you everything it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourselves, Moors. Walk with me on this path of enlightenment, if you willing. Because the divine comes first. The divine must come first. And the purest faith is the doctrine of the progressive illumination of the human spirit, Moors. Intertwined with sacred knowledge. I didn't say nothing secret, I said sacred. We must understand the meaning of sacred. Even divine use of the imperfect vehicles of these so-called religious faith, which we call what? The triple roads. The three so-called religious faiths. See, adapts know this. That's why we say we don't gather to know one ideology or faith, however you want to connotate it, where we miss the science and the essence of all the rest. Islam, Morris?
Islam.
And the diligent student. See, these words mean something when you say diligent. See, when I speak of these words, I don't use words just to say things. Words are spells. Just like when I lecture and people have put words on themselves, like for instance, Empress, they'll say, oh, I hope I don't get pulled over. You just cast a spell of doubt and something bad to happen. Instead of saying it's going to be a great day, Solomon. Everything is A1. I'm in my right mind. Allah is with me as I travel. But we don't bring on no negative spells on ourselves. You see? That's why the diligent student of wisdom would rightly infer that Ali has assimilated the teachings of ancient mysticism, divine knowledge, sacred wisdom, held by the interrelated esoteric traditions that include West Africa to Egypt, Nubia and Ethiopia, even far as India. Of course, the arcanum of the Arabian desert Moors then concealed that information in the cryptic instructions and keys to the Moors theology, family. See, when you visit, or if you ever done these things, when you research historians, like when you research their pen, the Greek historian Herodotus, y'all like how I said that? To those most ancient temples of Egypt around, they like to say, from their pen, 500 BC, where he is reportedly taught by the priests that their history exceeded 17,000 years and was introduced to records well preserved and recorded in successive unbroken periods of 330 kings and 300 priests. This is their pen. And he further testifies that all of their knowledge and the mysteries of their religion was memorized by the priesthood before there was one king or pharaoh of Egypt. And it's recorded that the people were ruled by 7 gods, by whom they were taught their peculiar religion, arts, sciences, and Menes, M-E-N-E-S, their first king, changed the course of the Nile and built the great capital of Memphis on the recovered land. Research it. That's how we can come from historical factual facts and synchronize our teachings and bring out the ancient teachings.
Can I repeat what you said, Noble?
Absolutely you can.
Research it.
Yes.
Research the researcher.
At all times. Is Brian on here?
Islam.
You on our page, Brian?
Indeed.
I know you in. Islam, no. Islam, you own it. You own it, my brother. But when we talk about their ancient wisdom and their religious mysteries, sustained Moors and perpetuated for countless millennium. Civilizations that are from all appearances born in the most remote periods of antiquity, and to whom the entire Greek world at that time were considered children. Come on, man. And by this knowledge, the ancient ones conducted all of their affairs, determined their social interactions, influenced the intelligence, and governed the lives of all of their people. Come on, man. We bring back all our teaching to ourselves, and we understood the common and the extraordinary usage of our sacred sciences, Moors. We got to make this stuff applicable. And the unceasing watchful should be maintained in the mind, the place of the skull in your biblical scripture. You know, in your Bible, what it's called, what's the word? Golgotha?
Yeah.
Do y'all know the analogy of that? When we talk about the place of the skull, when the blood trickles down. I did that lecture so many times and show you analogies. I mean, people won't even tell you. It's like, come on, man. Get out of the mystic stuff. Where the holy thought.
With the symbology as well.
Yeah. See, that's where the holy thought was first rejected, crucified. When I showed you under the veil, executed and buried in a dark grave of earthly passions and desires. And in truth, nobles, the end of the life work and purpose is not mere accusations of material wealth, mere accusation of physical things. Is verily the end of true life. So how can a person say they are God, man, and into all the teachings, and only thing you coming out doing now is talking about money and wealth, and saying that's the way for us to be free? That's why the true adapt is not so immediately, but rather is enlightened by measure and raised by degree until she is perfected. Unlike other orders, nobles, in the mixed Moorish teachings, I like to call the fascist groups, it is not in the labor of man that his or her soul is perfected, or his or her heart made pure, but one's being in the hands of the ever-living master builders, Moors. Even so, is there the, how can we like to say it, the requirement or that balance between the inner life and the outer life, nobles? Physical and spiritual, the heavenly and the worldly. That's that balance, a place for each, and each in the place. Neither is it ever of any benefit to confuse the two. When I tell Moors, you don't cut part of your body off and say part of me is evil. And a well-balanced life requires a daily commitment in each of several vital areas, without which one's life may become cluttered, confusing, and overwhelming in its constant demands. Understand this science, nobles. That's why the square, being a tool used to measure right angles, and when used in conjunction with the compass, Moors, what we are demonstrating and what it demonstrates, two careful considerations in the taking of one definite action, Moors, or using several exact measurements to isolate a designated point. And for any work to be firmly established and enduring, the symmetry must be the rule by which different parts are melted together to complete the perfected whole, Moors. Walk with me. The conciliation of all influences by equal and contemporary influences. And that's the thought in, we like to call it, philosophical schools of self-discovery and divine knowledge, when we demonstrate this science and the proper use of the various tools and other materials used in the construction of the holy temple within the heart. That's Allah's meeting place within man, within woman. See, we can go back into the teachings and we can quote, see that thou built it according to the pattern that was shown to thee in heaven. So when we talk about the same thing on earth has to be built as it is in heaven, we must match. So when we're dealing with law and history and religion, we, according to science and law, what does black mean, Solomon? You on mute, Solomon.
Yeah.
See? And that's without a doubt. That's without a contradiction. That's without a doubt and without a contradiction. That's why each is individually, directly responsible for the construction, or for the matter, the destruction of their spiritual life. We like to call it the destruction of the spiritual life and the upkeep of the temple within. And all of the tools are used inside. In the workshop of the mind, where things are made of thought, nobles, by reason and experience, the thinking and the analytical faculties are cultivated and perfected. Where? In the mind. That's why in the biblical scriptures it says everything was started with a thought. In the beginning was the word, and then the word was made flesh. Come on, man.
Come on, though.
Made fit for the master's use. And it's discovered that there are two distinct natures in man, in woman. Two diametrically opposing tendencies, which we call the lower, baser impulse of the physical. Y'all know we used the word yesterday. The physical nature, and the eternal being, the spirit man or the spirit woman, as passenger or director of his or her necessary vehicles of locomotion and manifestation. See, how can we say we a God man and a God woman, and all you see these people doing is talk about they doing manifestations to make some money, and you think $1 gonna make you happy? You can't conjure up unity. You can't conjure up all the lies you be doing, but you can do all these money mantras. Wow, isn't that something? Look how we don't turn Allah, the great God within, to a genie. You see how crazy this stuff is?
Make a wish.
You see, Noble? See, like, we can make it plain. You want all that outward manifestation don't mean nothing if the heart right. You don't have to do none of that stuff. You can give your salat within. That's why I teach we do things the Moorish way. Every victory over self. I ain't say every victory over somebody over this. I say every victory over self is a plumbing or a tumbling of the walls, the fastening of the joints, securing the doors, and cleaning the windows of the house. When we accept the truth that the sun at its highest point is certain to enter in and illuminate throughout and fill each and every room. See, this is things that we know.
Come on.
And in the way of life and light moors, look at the synchronicity. It is the builder's labor with sincere and conscious effort to exalt. We got to know what exalt really consists of, and work in his or her true self with authority and power over illusionary and carnal life. Because that's all people fighting. Because you're not thinking. You're not thinking. You're reacting. When you were adult, like I used the analogy, a mistake, Nobles, if somebody cook you some food and it's peanut based, and you're allergic to peanuts, and you eat it and say, "Oh, I made a mistake. I didn't ask. Boom, boom, boom. I ate something allergic." But making a sound decision as an adult, and you do something, that ain't a mistake. You chose.
Because you know better by that time as an adult.
Come on, man.
You've been forewarned. You know what I'm saying? You've been taught better.
Come on.
It's
It's the higher self in conscious knowledge of his, of her being, acting, reciprocating in all the affairs of his or her earthly and extra dimensional existence, having a just balance and a fair equilibrium between mundane. And they have the feds on. I said, don't you know what that's on your feds? And see, more that we just, I don't understand sometimes. But that mundane life and the holy endeavors of the spirit realms, the carnal man, severely restricted by the darkness, deceit, and disinformation. Disinformation of the lower self, the faculties, his or her own misleadings and faculty, understanding or interpretation of the true light. Did you hear what I just said, man?
wow.
This ain't me. Your lower self will lead you astray.
These are facts.
Disinformation. And then you would tell on yourself. And then you would tell on yourself. And the person say, I ain't even asked you that. Like, that means nothing to do with this. Like, you will get yourself in trouble.
Because you can only speak your mind.
See? The true and reserved when we deal with these principalities for those that are proven faithful, the divine right of everyone with proper birth into the kingdoms. That well-balanced man or woman has discovered it to be advantageous to suppose himself or herself neither good nor evil, but rather to be neither, having unfeigned stability in public and private. Walk with me. Always of a clear mind, with distinguishable purpose. With distinguishable purpose. When I said we the Burning Bush Tabernacle, if we go somewhere, we represent the temple. We go somewhere, yes, I'm Mutaf son from the Burning Bush Tabernacle. Hey, my brother invited me here, and I'm just here for support, Islam, and peace. True wisdom, which clearly comprehends and consistently employs the ages, the old at age, that there is a time and a purpose for everything under heaven. And such have learned to be ourselves without effort, reposed, resilient, resting comfortably in one's own personality and character type. Morris, have we ever considering that for every action there is of necessity an equal and opposite reaction? Islam, can we agree to these principles? Can we agree to this? So subsequently, family, all true master men, all true master women, revealers of the light, we strive to maintain invariant consciousness of the holy breath, that which was, is, and evermore to be. Aman, Islam, family?
Islam.
See, it's an important time today. I get into the teachings of the message and the messengers. And what we like to quote in our teachings, the gods have spoken to the Greek and kindred tongues through images made by man. But Allah, the one, now speaks to man, not by an oracle made of wood and gold, but by the voice of man. Are y'all listening to me? And we hate man every day. And our teachers say Allah works through man. A prophet and angel is clothed in the flesh. Throughout history of humanity, there have ever been prophets, teachers, mystics, masters, divines, who have communicated the messages from the heavens realm to us, to men. In every land there exist same sacred doctrines used to elevate the mind and the heart of the people and turn them away from this so-called sin within. All true and divine messengers, prophets, priests, sages, teachers, and mystics are emissaries from the other realms of the same spirit, co-workers and fellow laborers. Like this is work that I do. I don't play with this. I must be manufactured. I'm a doctor. I'm in the laboratory with my test tubes and my beakers every day, making sure I'm coming right. This ain't no game. So when we talk about religious belief systems and practices, for the most part, it's spread to the east, to the west, east from Egypt, to the crescent of the Middle East. Also from that point, when we talk about the ancient wisdom and the sacred sciences and the mystery systems of the schools of instruction and initiation, let me break something down to y'all. See, when Negroes try to, see, I hate to, no, I'm going to say it. Yes, I am. I'm going to say it. Because it's important. When a person think you stupid, they'll try to twist the teachings, and you're going to see all these people coming up with this perverted chakra stuff and twisting the chakra upside down, making the chakra the entrance point to your illuminations through your anus. See, I'm telling you real. This is perverted shit. I'm telling y'all, Allah would bring it all out, and they taking these perverted Alice Crowley bullshit. They taking this pastel Beverly Randolph. See, I give y'all the books for a reason, to see how they twist the teachings. See, that's why I whoop these motherfuckers, excuse my candor. I whoop their ass with the teaching, because I know what these sucker niggas be doing with all this goofy shit. See, they bringing this old perverted Alice Crowley shit. They bringing this bullshit as Pascal Beverly Randolph and all that sex. I'm telling you, I do this for a reason. They know I'm telling the truth. I destroy that sucker shit. Just like Hitler took the swastika and made it different and said it was some evil. It's not. See, we'll destroy the satanic spirit. I don't care what color it is. Damn you. You see? They try to take it and make it some mystic shit. No, man. This is our science. And they give credit. I already broke the science down with Adam Blavatsky and all them. Give the credit to our Noble Drew Ali and how Alice Crowley changed his name to Serapis Bey when he thought he learned the science. See, I break the shit down all the way and bring you out of the shallow grave and take your shit back. You should be talking like me. You should be. Because a person that take the science and twist and talk about, look at all this matrix, some perverted shit. No, you perverted because you following the fucking European with that perverted shit. See, I know the bullshit.
Key word was you did the study for yourself.
Man, I had to, man. I can't say I'm a scientist and I know all the Gnostic teachings and I know bullshit when I smell it and I know a drunk when I see it. Just like when I come from our IDMR, when I talk about the spiritual alcohol, you were telling yourself, a spiritual alcohol, I ain't drunk. Yes, your drunk ass is.
It's wrong.
You see? With all that initiation shit, I know the goofy stuff that goes on because they think we stupid. And they mix the teaching and try to say, oh, that amazing stuff. This, no. This is our science. The Europeans stole it. You want me to break this shit down for you? You want me to break clandestine down? You want me to bring out the true teachings? You want me to bring out this true Kemetic teachings and show you this all ours? And every European that wrote anything masonry gonna give it right to me and gonna bow down when they fucking see me and excuse my candor? It's just what it is, man. We got to be bold like this.
It's all some goofy stuff.
All that goofy initiation and stuff, no. It was ageless Kemet, Egypt, that nourished the schools of Greece. When we talk about stolen legacy, if you don't have it, I got the books. Research stolen legacy. Socrates, Plato, all that. I got the books, Empress. This is old history. Generated by mythology. They'll tell you what is Greek mythology.
It means made up.
Philosophy and instructed the famed Greek minds, Socrates to Plato, Herodotus to Pythagoras, all travel where? Egypt, to receive instruction and training in the sacred sciences. These are facts. That's why that's why the European is only 32 and 33 degrees, because we didn't teach them enough. They snowmans. That's in meteorology when water freezes, 32 and 33 degrees. We didn't teach you the words. We didn't teach you. We just gave you enough for your ass can do business. And you identify your goofy ass. Excuse my candor. I'm just, hey, man, it's just what it is. The Greek is a fraud. I'm sorry. Can't get mad at me. Because they'll lie to you about who you are. And they know it. They'll sit up in your face and lie to you. And lie to you.
Behaviorism at its finest.
Only way out the fight is through the fight.
And every messenger's life energies are wrapped up in the ultimate concern of carrying out the work and taking care of the responsibilities that the Almighty has placed in our care. I told y'all, man, I got something in my care and I must do my Father's work. I must do my Father's work. I'm a messenger of these teachings of the true God. I don't care if nobody like me. I don't care. I don't care if no whole bunch of old Negroes don't like what I'm saying. They can't prove me wrong. From the true teachings, they can't. You just following what you believe. And under belief is a word called balai. Believing in things that you can't prove. And the prophets of the olden times in every land and from every people were more than living oracles to the multitudes. They were mystics. We were the masterminds as well, who investigated the composition of man and matter, the invisible realms, and the manifested powers of nature. When I say, how you call yourself a mastermind and all you talk about is money, and you can't manifest nature and the physical body and unity and synchronicity. All you talk about is money. That's all Allah gonna do for us. Come on, man. Come on. And all universally agreeing in essence that God is light. And in that manifestation is no darkness. But we got to know, in one point of time, the spiritual messengers lived and worked on this plane. Yet our words, what we do, it crossed times, it astral plane, impacting the lives, raising the consciousness of the untold numbers. Look at all these people when my flesh is gone, people be able to tell a word. Look at the literature that we gathered and compiled. It'll be here, it'll last in time. It'll be here for the ages.
Islam.
And those without the light of an informed and illuminating intelligence Moors are held in a state or a condition, real or imagined, of mental bondage, confused and distorted views of life. Look at the adults that call themselves Moors that's confused and won't tell the truth and say they confused. That's sad. And then to go in a burn house and not get yourself locked up, and you will get locked up and they say I don't consent. And don't say you made a mistake because you didn't understand that this restrictions in law. You got to be honest. The thoughts of such men are held to the basest levels, concerned with only the lowest instincts of mere survival and physical gratification. What point you trying to prove? In one Moorish American document, Moors, Ali teaches the problems of life are largely social and economic. In a profound sense, Moors, they are moral and spiritual. Over much emphasis, Moors, can be placed on nationality or historical identity at the expense of tangible, much needed and positive changes, real progress, beneficial actual achievements in the uplifting of ourselves. When we like to use the analogy of pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. How? We doing it here at the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. We doing it. We doing it. We not complaining. We doing things the right way. And at the root, our problems are spiritual problems, psychological dilemmas that must be overcome. And of course, there is still too much religious controversy as to the right thing. And we destroyed that already. When I synchronized the Bible and the Quran, we destroyed it because the damn Quran speaks of the so-called Jesus 23 times. And can't nobody dispute it. See? And then they get mad because I know you ain't read shit. And then I know you ain't read the Bukhari Hadith when it talks about your black ass. Excuse my candor. So you definitely don't want to go there. When the names are Muhammad slaves. So what you talk about, I don't know. All that religious stuff was against you. So, as we get into the exhument of the nation, because I wanted to teach y'all some science, some law, and show you that all this stuff synchronized. I end with a little bit of the adapt wisdom, and I'll jump right into the exhument of the nation. when we talk about freedom, when we talk about freedom, freedom is a word that carries with a tremendous weight of responsibility. And there is the implication of one that is consciously aware of the various demands and circumstances which life presents and diligently directs his or her thoughts and energies in the most prudent, in the most, how can I say it, just the best manner that you can be. And any free society that allows a public persecution in any form or condones aggressive, unwarranted intolerance against any of the citizens, it is not entitled to the name of free. So if we would, just for a minute, Moors, if we would be just, we would do more than merely tolerate those who differ from ourselves, but recognize and openly acknowledge the rights of all men to freedom, justice, and equality. Because that's why we're here in America, right? Huh?
Islam.
See, when these Moors talk about they not a Moorish America, they some national. America is the only place that them goofies can talk this and talk about religion and don't know nothing. And I say, well, we from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood, correct? And so what about Ruth the Moabitess? What about Tamara, all those Moabitess women? Oh, I'm stupid. This is the only place, and you say you don't like America? My computer be tripping, y'all. Hold on, I gotta cut it off and cut it back on. Oh, it just cut off. I don't know, my computer be tripping. But you can't say that. You can't say that, y'all. No one can make up those things because it don't make sense. You see? That involves self-determination, self-perception, operate hand in hand equally with the elevation and advancements of a people. When I talk about what we're doing at the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, legally and lawfully as a tribe, on the record, we talk about the religious laws and the rights of the indigenous people and the religious rights. Man, we just doing what we supposed to do. The Mormons doing it, the Latter-day Saints doing it, the Amish doing it. My homeboy Khalid and they Amish people, they got 200 acres. I show Moors how to acquire land. This ain't no fake stuff. I gotta talk about no internet real estate. I show you how to buy land. I'm just a plug. I ain't out here hustling people. I help Europeans get land. I show them, be like, this how to land, this how they buy it. They be like, wow, thank you. They give me a finder's fee. Why? Because they like, this is amazing. They like, it's worth it. I ain't out here. I ain't no sucker. It's too much America. America is for sale. I can't buy all of it. I ain't no multi-billionaire. I ain't no hater. But a workman is due is higher. If I'm introducing you something that's helping you, you're going to get it for the price it costs. I'm just introducing you something. It's worth a fee. Period. When we're talking about we can get land, we can do this. I know how to get land. My Moors are on here. Malik, am I lying?
Nope, not at all.
We ain't got to talk about what nobody doing. This in our name, my noble name, our nobles. We got land. We did it. And when I came to them, I already had 40 acres and a fucking mule. I came in and be like, this is what we can do. When I came in, I used to do videos, Emperors, nice to be on Instagram, and be like, look, Moors, we can do this. I like, we can do this. They're like, how you do this? I said, I just don't buy cars. I'm like, I can go, you telling me for 20,000, I can get 40 fucking acres? You telling me I can go drop this money down? I save. That's like I bought my truck. I don't have no note. I'm a saver. I know how to do numbers. I save and buy that shit. You talk about you can do this, you smart, go cash out then. Or shut the hell up. I don't care about no debt. And so I just speak the truth and what we can do as a body of people. We say we want to get land and it's 10 acres for X amount of dollars, we can get 10 acres. Everybody say they work and get income taxes every year. Boom. Why we can't put that together every year and do something? Just imagine if everybody did that every year. In 5 years, you could have a whole freaking community. And then your business credit is so high, y'all operating on a higher frequency, you want to get a loan from the bank, they'll give it to you. Why? Because you already got capital. I do the strategy. It's very, very simple. It's nothing but mathematics. How you think churches be building them big old, like they call mega churches? Think about it. Think about it, because there's a certain amount of money coming in and out. You can sit down and do the books and say every quarter this coming in based on my books, based on this, based on the wild, based on I'm banking with you, blah, blah, blah. You see what's coming in. We can, how can I say, we can project that this is going to happen. And we already got this much money dealing with you. Bam, you're a multi-million-dollar operation real soon. You ain't got to listen to me, just watch.
With the what, Noble?
Islam.
Huh?
Church that is church without what?
Tell them, Noble. You teaching. You a teacher.
People.
People.
People coming together under one vine and fig tree.
It's that simple. See, we can talk about the churches, but they at least they down with what they doing. They can say this what we got. They can say you more is cool for y'all ain't got shit. Forget what y'all saying about us. They love their pastor. Look at my pastor, and it ain't about that. I'm saying look what we can really do though. We can make a real impact. Let me give you a number. TD Jakes, Joe Osteen, them got 10,000 members. 10,000 more is giving $40 a month. That's what 400,000, I think, a month. At the end of the year, that's 4.8 million. At the end of the year, off those small numbers. Bam. You reckon that's a whole movement. You electric. We say money, currency. Well, we are electric current. We do that together. You become electric. See, that's don't talk to me about this. It takes all this, and we become electric with our money. We become currency, electric current. It goes together. Period.
You are the currency, pure point blank.
People talk about money, yes, but it take us. Money ain't gonna never disappear. People talk about this fiat, this. I said, man, you stupid. What you gonna trade rice? See, you stupid. See, we don't deal with that. Come on, what you talking about credit? Well, then you get credit, you still got to pay it off. Here it is. I'm finna get $100,000 worth of credit. What you gonna do with $100,000 worth of credit? You gonna go buy a Bentley? So, as we finish the teaching, nobles, this is what we're supposed to do, man. Every group and nation maintains its historical record, its sacred values and traditions, memorialized in its unique and particular rituals. Here we go about the religious rights of the indigenous people. We don't have to assimilate. We don't have to let nobody else join. We don't have to strip ourselves of our dress and our culture and our sacred teachings. It tell us that. What are we tripping on? And archives of events, records, keys of knowledge. Say what, Noble?
I said they tripping off 15.
And of wisdom. All traditions and legal systems throughout the human family with every religious sect, every major and minor belief system, whether orthodox or unorthodox, Jew, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, unknowns. All of this. We got to know this. So I want to be clear that a master adept and divine minister should be able to compile a manual. I heard y'all just what I just said. It said a master adept and divine minister should be able to compile a manual of instruction from the comics section of a daily newspaper. This is an analogy, understanding all design, intended, and possible effects on the thought process, particularly on novices and young aspirants, meaning you should be able to come off the throne and make it easy like the scripture says for a child can understand it. You see?
Islam.
That's what this is saying. See, you should be able to break down the language when I say it's a language. You can get lost in the mistranslation. So, as we wrapping it up, see, this stuff is important today. See, we work out our physical body every day, but sometimes we got to get right back on that equal balance. You see?
Yes, sir.
When we talk about the true fifth components of a natural person, which we know, see, we got to deal with the basics. That's why if any more that's on my Instagram or YouTube, if you don't have my books, I recommend you should get them. I suggest you get all of them. It's no problem. You will love it. It will enlighten you. I guarantee you. It will question everything, and you will start illuminating yourself, and you will want to be a part of something that's real. It'll touch your heart. You want things to touch your heart. That's the Holy Spirit. That's the illumination. When it touches your heart, when it gives you a quickening spirit, that's what this is supposed to do in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. When you hear the truth, it should change you. It should cleanse you up. When we talk about the spirit, the indestructible God essence in man, when we talk about the soul, the actions of the mind's powers, thinking, reasoning, willing, and understanding, the body, flesh, human vehicle, made of the earth, often indigenous to the land of birth, nationality, the descended birth, attachment through an especial nation or tribe, free national name, lineage, identity, creed, religious path of God, consciousness established throughout forefathers, vine and fig tree, Man, what does the 1828 Webster Dictionary say American is? The copper-colored races. And then they try to say found here by the Europeans. You ain't find nothing that's already been here. See, they're telling on yourself. You must know how to read and remove the anger and use the truth. In the 1828 Webster Dictionary, it says the American is the copper-colored races found here by the Europeans. Am I lying or am I telling the truth?
Facts. Facts.
So if that's the case, like I said yesterday, now let's go back to the Bible. In the biblical scriptures, in Daniel, Jesus was brown like copper and all his hair is wood. So according to their pen, if Yahshua left the earth a certain way, isn't he going to come back the same way he left? Yes or no?
Yes.
See? I mean, this stuff be too simple stuff, man. And so we illuminated the 14th Amendment. We talked about that. But when we talk about Negroes today, the misnomer Africans, the misnomer African Americans would never have true rights. I don't care how mad you get or how you argue all that black stuff in a court of law, they know they lying to you. Because according to science and law, black means deaf. I don't even have to go even deep with it. And the person was just arguing with more mean black. You know it don't. We break, that's all elementary too. You know more don't mean black. So you destroy it with that. So why are you gonna play this ignorant game? Why would we play an ignorant game with a person and we know we don't entertain ignorant shit? Excuse my candor. And we know those misnomers, Negro, black, and colored, those are names of denationalized human property. And were never designed to have rights as labeled property, that the NBC can never have true rights because all rights are contingent upon universal, natural, and or civil laws. Right? Right, y'all? I said civil laws. I ain't say Black Laws Dictionary, did I? Okay. So I don't want nobody to get twisted because you quote some old law out of Black Laws out of Hawaii and try to take that all the way to Maryland. Man, you out of jurisdiction. Islam. I want to be legally correct when I speak for a person to understand what I'm saying and don't get feelings involved. Before there can be rights, there must first be laws from which rights derive their strength. I hope we all hear that. These are facts. And since the Negro does not have a constitution, if it do, show me the Negro Constitution. I can show you the black Christian codes. I can show you all that stuff that connotate and denotate to slavery. But Negroes does not have a constitution or laws of autonomy. I hope you know what autonomy means. From which to govern itself. He or she cannot have lawful rights. This is why the Dred Scott decision of 1857 stated, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue, the Negro has no rights. The Negro, you want me to replace it? The black, want me to replace it? The African American. What else you want? Has no rights that the true citizens are bound to respect. Are bound to respect. Tell me I'm lying or I'm telling the truth. That shit was on Jeopardy. Tell me I'm lying.
That's the truth.
Tell me I'm lying. Alex Trebek got on Jeopardy and broke that shit down for people. And a European lady answered it so fast. Dred Scott, they know. So when anybody that call himself a scholar play that black noise, you got to be mad. You got to be really upset. Because how can you call yourself an educator, a scholar, and you playing that black noise, talk about your blackness is your freedom? You know that's not legally and lawfully and religiously, historically correct. You know you lying. And if you don't know you lying, let me educate you real fast. Let the true teachings resonate on you. The divine and civil law was ratified in the 14th Amendment under the word person. Nobody can deny what I'm saying. And sealed in its section 4, which states, and I quote, in essence, that Negroes, aka persons, whether free or slave, have no right to compensation or reparations. Huh? Did you just hear what I just said, y'all?
It's on.
So here you got all these people making these TV shows talk about what we gonna get, how we gonna get reparations. You know a Negro can't get no reparations. You know that. So you sit your brother on there. All that arguing, going back and forth. What should we call ourselves? Is easy. Let me bring out the laws right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 done, and ain't no question. Are we gonna do it? Oh, question. You know that's right. And all of them will get up and walk off the stage because everything what I'm saying can be proven in law. And the European to get up there right there with me and be like, he's just telling the truth. See? So you can't be mad at no European. It ain't no European, no Albion job to teach you about you. It's your brother to show you that all your brothers and all your so-called scholars that they put up in our face been lying to you and warn your ass to sleep, getting a check. And now they all old men now. And now they want to talk that shit on their deathbed. Let me tell y'all something. I'm giving y'all keys. Listen, Carter G. Woodson is just what it is. J.A. Rogers, they all was boule. Can't be mad at me. Can't be mad at me. The boys that you can't be mad at me.
Mason Hilliard too.
Huh?
Mason Hilliard too. Come
on, and everybody know it. And I say, listen, man, we deal with the right things. So when we talk about reparations, let's deal with the facts. Let's have that real conversation if we're gonna have it. If not, leave it alone and let us continue to build. To maybe in our lifetime, as we get older in age, in our 70s, it'll start changing. But we doing our work. I told you I'm with reparations, just as y'all are. But the stately restitution is only reserved from the constituted governments for atrocities imposed against another recognized nation. Tell me I'm lying. Tribe and or family bearing what? Bearing what? The same free national name. See? And so when we talk about nation, it ain't got nothing to do with no goofy dollar. By design, the misnomer Negro, black, and colored is neither of these Moors. And to avoid paying reparations to slaves and descendants of ex-slaves is the main reason for the Congress of the United States writing Section 4. So I'm not making nothing up. This is free information. This is public information. Section 4 into the de facto 14th Amendment, recycle bin of Negro, black, and colored, slave, in parentheses, persons, identifications. And this amendment is nothing short of a title of ownership and assumable jurisdiction of the free nation of people, brought forth by Congress in the 13th Amendment. It's just facts. And so I wanted to just put that out there. I'm not going to jump in all the 15th Amendment because the 15th Amendment was the Reconstruction Amendment, and it resulted from the great right of suffrage of 1870. And this amendment gave guaranteed voting power to the free male Negro slave. But it was not because America so loved her, only slave, that it gave the right to vote as so-called citizens. It was on contrary. It was to keep them in power. And the assassination of President Lincoln, the South began pouring representatives, money, influential filibusters, and lobbyists into Washington with intent to regain dominion in the South and reinstitute slavery. Look at history. It's there. Everybody know that I'm not making this up. Citizens of the U.S. were guaranteed the right to vote in the very first article of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, Clause 1. Therefore, the 15th Amendment was purely for the purpose of pacifying a segment of civilian populace for a time. Nobles, and this is why the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments are all prompted by governments to quell some form of civil unrest. I'm telling y'all, nobody. This is public information. How to free all Moorish hostages? After I just gave you a brainstorm of the 13th and 14th and 15th Amendment, you should want to inquire. You say you are Moor. This is law. The way been paved to go to the scenes of these laws, which compile in an infamous shallow grave of Haram Abif. When I illuminate and I reveal the keys of Freemasonry, A lot of misnomer Negro, black, and colored and convicted felons are going to be pissed when I break this stuff down. That's why a lot of people, prisoners, they can go to the local law libraries and free themselves. I'm telling you. I ain't saying if you murder nobody. I'm talking about things that you didn't know in law. You see? So when I speak of these things, when I speak of this science, when I talk about balance, it's lawful history. Balance is this lawful history, with the United States officially losing its sovereignty in 1871, returning to its original corporate status, and when it was just the British colonies. And your summation will be simply this. I'm not telling you to do nothing. I'm giving you law. That's free public information. All crimes committed since 1871 are commercial crimes and cannot be part of any legal proceedings. This is their books. I ain't telling you what to do. That's why people be getting in trouble saying somebody told me to. Ain't nobody told you to do that. You ran out on your own. You a rogue. True Constitution. Real talk. You ain't part of nothing. You a rogue. You got something from here, got something from there, and went out there and crossed your fingers and hoped to die and hoped it worked. Fool, it better work. We don't play around with that in law. Talk about it better work. Are you crazy? True constitutional governments do not have nor honor corporate courts, because corporations are merely property of themselves. And I hope people understand what I said. That's why I said, man, if you know the law, you can defend yourself in law with no problem. Corporate courts cannot preside over natural persons jurisdictionally. And that jurisdiction parameter, a black political hostage is a state of encompassment. It is the state of unnatural existence that envelopes so-called black people, which is seen by the masses, and yet is largely unnoticed due to its obscure definition. And in essence, family, the state of this mental slavery is the colorable, legalized enslavement of a nation of people held here in the United States of America. And to reveal this phenomenon, Moors, it's necessary to dissect the words black. See, today, that's why I said, today we got to get back to the basics. School is necessary. We got to understand black, political, and the word hostage to understand when I talk about law and politics go together. Black is only a word, not a color, which according to science mean death, void of light, absent of life, negative. When we talk about the machination of a Maya people. Political, the practice influences of a government, anything pertaining or relating to the policy or administration of government, state or national. And when I get in the state booklet, that's why I said these Moors is lost, because they don't know a church, a state, a municipal, a school, all that is synonymous. But who am I? See, they so lost. They don't have no power. And the exercise of the function vested in those charged with the conduct of the government to control its public policy, the exercising of governmental powers, hostage, any person, family, tribe, nation, or people, once free, now captured, usually kidnapped from alien origin, held against his or her will, with their freedom and or life or service to stand as ransom or security. So, hostage taken in the USA, ironically, we said yesterday, it's a federal crime. I broke down the precedent law case. Title 18 USCA 1203. So the origin of the black political hostage Moors began with the transfer of slave ownership from one powerless Southern to the constitutional fold of government. We broke that down. So when we break this, when we sum all this stuff together, man, watch this. Empress, watch this, how we destroy something real fast. I love when I say it ain't secret, it's sacred. See, a lot of Moors, they won't teach. They won't give you the clock of destiny and won't tell you what it means. They'll try to hold everything. They won't break down the state booklet. and all that fraudulent stuff they doing because they think you stupid. And I said, we a school. So watch this. This is what a lot of Moors do. And I say a true teacher can only correct teachings. So watch this. Even if our prophet said our last name is a slave name, right? Even if our prophet Noble Drew Ali did say, if he said your last name is a slave name, which I disagree because it's your coat of arms, your family crest, because I'm an American. What does annexation mean? What does annex? Our prophet say you annex your Bay and L to your name, right? Am I lying or am I telling the truth, y'all? Yes or no?
Yes, that's right.
So, if your last name is the slave name, why would you say annex your Bay, your L to your slave name? Get rid of your slave name. See, it don't make sense. And I just said annex it to your name. I say annexing. So in the same breath, I tell you that your last name is a slave name, but in the same breath, I tell you to annex your Bay and your L to your name. Come on, you got to make it make sense. I'm making it make sense. Ain't nothing about you a slave. Your name came from your mother. You obey your foremothers and your forefathers. You annexing your tribal name or your national name to your family name. You are, I am a Goodman, but I'm a Goodman Bay. I'm a Goodman Bay. You see, it's too simple.
It's long.
It's too simple. So,
Nobility is a title.
come on, Noble. So now watch this. And when people be talking about get rid of your birth certificate, I said now, before I even get into teachings, Empress, I just come as a legal rep that'll try to stop you from doing dumb shit. If I'm trying to go to court and I say I need all the evidence, and I say I need all the evidence, and you say this is all the evidence, I say, are you sure? And then you come to me, I'm getting ready to put the case together, and then you come to me and tell me, well, Kari, well, Sheik, I destroyed part of the evidence. But then they hold up the clock of destiny. So let's correct these clowns. The birth certificate. Because see, they tell all this. Here we go. Lawful proof. Blacks are not citizens. Or the blank check. Our prophet told Moors, don't change your birth certificates because you are going to get paid and paid with compound interest for what they done to you during a time of lawful and assumable jurisdiction. But you get rid of all the stuff that you say put you in slavery. You say you changed it already. You good. See? Think about this. You can't get mad. The state seals are stamped upon every birth certificate. See, this is proof. But you're going to get rid of your evidence. Like you will lie to me and say, this is all the evidence. And then I started defending you. They started bringing out all type of evidence on me. You a liar. I'm dropping the case. You making me look real stupid. And the state documents have been authorized by U.S. Congress through its signature, signed at the last article on each of the Reconstruction Amendments, particularly the 14th. What most Negro, Blacks, and Colors do not know, especially those with the latest civil outcry of my reparations now. They're state-owned, certified of live birth. It's actually the blank check. And I ain't just talk about anyone. I'm just breaking down law. And then these more lie talk about you got all this money at the end of the rainbow and tell you to do all this stuff. Well, if your social security number, Morris, is attached to all this money, why they broke his shit? But they'll tell you to go do some stuff. And go do all this and do all that. Because, man, that ain't what we saying. What I'm saying, you are free. And the estate is you. And you are a business. And you can operate as a business. Just like your sheik do. And when we come together as electrical current, as a nation with religious rights and laws, it's over. It's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The religious laws, the laws are it's always been there. When you talk about citizenship and civil rights, Section 1, rights of citizens, all persons born or naturalized in the United States as subject of the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the United States where they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunity of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Proclaim, declare, and have due process. Proclaim, declare, and have due process. You must proclaim, to declare, to have due process. And they don't even catch that. That's something that you got to do. Nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws or appointment of representatives in Congress, See, we got to do this. See, let me ask y'all a question. Because see, we teaching today. You ain't ever asked yourself a question, y'all? If the so-called misnomer Greece, Italian, English, Chinese, the misnomer Japan, the so-called Turks, which we are the Turks, I done broke that down out of Library of Congress over and over. A pale person can't come to me with that mis-scholarship, with that Eurocentric and that Negrocentric propaganda. I'm going to break the science down, and all you got to do is sit on your hands. I'll go right in the Library of Congress, and I'll tell you what your pen say. So the misnomer Turks, the Arabians, are forced, aren't they forced to proclaim their national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America? It is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. But why they don't do that to us? Because they say we don't have nothing. Think about it. We don't have no, we ain't nothing. Listen, in all other governments, when a woman is born and raised, they are asked for his or her national descent name. And if he or she fails to give it, he or she is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. That's what's happening today. And Moors don't even know it. Because to be a Moorish American, aka citizen, please understand the vernacular that I'm using in this context of any government, you must claim your national descent name. Come on. Because they place their trust upon issues and names formed by their forefathers. See, this statement brings the idea or naturalize, applies to every nation attached to the human family, bar the Negro, Black, and colored people. The nationalization clause. That's what I said. I said the nationalization clause. Research this stuff that I'm saying. Permits a person to acquire nationality after birth and become entitled to U.S. citizenship. What did Obama tell these Negroes? Obama ain't do nothing for black people. Obama told you, according to science and law, black means death. Obama told you, you have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. No one would be arbitrarily denied the right of a nationality and a right to change it. To claim a child replaces the birth certificate. Ain't nobody never told you that.
So, Sheik, what you saying is, say, misnomer Mexican came over here, quote unquote, illegally, but the child, well, and that Mexican made him had a child, you know what I'm saying? And that child was born in a medical institution in the United States. Is that a way that child could be nationalized or naturalized?
And see, no, that's now we getting deep. Remember we told you about religious laws trump state laws, right? So if you part of religion, remember, I don't want to give it all. I'm gonna give it to you to find it because you're gonna find it in the sacred drift. Peter Lambert Wilson, when you see how all those other misnomer European or misnomer pale, aka sorry, gypsies, aka came over, and how they were able to claim their nationality through the Moorish legacy. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Legally. I have to show it to you.
Through the MOC.
Yeah.
First Orthodox Church.
Come on, Noble. You see? And people can't deny what's there. That's why these Europeans gave so much credit to the prophet. A God man going to be accepted everywhere. When I'm around the Europeans, they know. Because you done a lot of God man, he does liberation. That's the uniting of Asia. We unite it. We unite this stuff. You see? Islam. Great question. But see, a lot of people don't know that. And it ain't nobody's job to teach you that. You must be under the right teaching and right auspices before it can be revealed. So you can start asking those questions. Be like, is this right? Is this right? Yep. Do you got your own land? Do you got your other laws? Do you got this under your tribe? Why? Because when you have your children, you don't got to go to the hospital. You don't condone that. You don't have a contract with them. See?
Islam.
Come on. And everybody know I'm telling the truth. And so when we talk about these facts, man, the reason why misnomer blacks will be denied reparations, man, first it must be stated that I'm in favor for all this, man, for reparations. I don't want nobody to get my words twisted in the forms of both land and monies. I'm with all that too, but a lot of stuff that we can do on our own to be paid by the United States to survive these so-called slaves. I get all that. But I must also say reparations would never be given to Negroes, colored people, and blacks. like those who also call themselves African Americans. It's never going to happen. You can argue to your face black and blue. And these people in any of the aforementioned statuses simply do not have the legal, historical, or national muster to merit reparations. And these are facts, Moors. And too often, these so-called, I hate to say this, Negro historians make the unjust mistake of not studying the law when they study a particular history. Law governs all events. And this includes history, although no history is an exact science because it's usually written by the conquerors, Moors. And most conquerors care very little about the past events of those they have conquered. And what I'm saying is not to put any blame or put this on people, because most historians have the same origin as the description of crimes as told by the criminal family, and very little consideration is ever given to the values of the victims, which on earth would make who? The Negro, black, and color of the United States of America. They would tell so-called blacks the main reason they ain't got no reparations coming because they are black. And there is but one true way the people can duly receive reparations, family, and it's upon the setting. And so we got to look at the historical phenomenon with a legal eye. Somebody said something?
Islam.
We almost done, y'all. We got to teach. I said we had to have 2 days of teachings. We had to. So when we talk about reparations, the Black Laws Dictionary, which NBCs and Moors love, they run to that Black Laws. I'm like, man, okay. So let's deal with the 6th edition. Payment for a injured or damage. Redress for a wrong done. Several states have adopted the Uniform Crime Victims Reparation Act. Certain federal statuses also provide for reparations for violation of act, persons suffering losses because of violations of commodity. Future Trading Act may seek reparations under the act against violator. 7 U.S.C.A. number 18, payment made by one country to another for damages during war or breach of an international obligation. So what's a breach of an international obligation? A treaty, right? But you can't administer no law if you ain't a body of people with one name. It's a whole bunch of people talking crazy. They say y'all can't agree on one name. I'm telling you, y'all know I'm telling the truth. Restitution. In the 7th edition, the act of making amends for a wrong. Compensation for an injury or wrong. For wartime damages or breach of an international obligation. Reparative injunction. An injunction requiring the defendant to restore the plaintiff to the position that the plaintiff occupied before the defendant committed the wrong. What I'm talking about? Repairing yourself back to the original state before you were tampered with. Preventative injunction. You see this legal terminology that I'm breaking down? You must know the language. Just like in contracts, it's a word in a record contract that I don't be telling people. I say, did you read that word in the contract? No, what that contract means, you went for life. Is that legal? Yeah, if you just sign it. If you don't have me read over it, you did it. You don't know it's a statute of limitation after 7 years? Because you don't read. I love reading contracts. And only about 1 in every 50,000 well-trained, miseducated black Americans know since 1868. The 14th Amendment has declared reparations to all persons subject to its jurisdiction. We almost there. As unconstitutional. Ask any so-called Negro scholar. They'll lie in your face. This means especially those United States so-called ex-slaves and their so-called descendants. That was the real cause of the Civil War. Because any tittle of the Negro blood in you made your ass a slave. They know that. They don't want to tell that though. Do not be deceived by the hundreds of individuals and groups riding this new 21st century wave of reparations now. That's why all reparations now movement are being showcased by prominent so-called black U.S. law professionals, legal firms, political leaders, and so-called civil rights activists. Look at it. In their pursuit of reparations, the misnomer African Americans are attempting to wade into the very depths of international waters while dry docked by this so-called de facto slave labels of Negro, Black, and Colored. And with all respect, these celebrities are being dangled in front of the masses of these misnomer Negro, Black, and Colored, like a ripened carrot in front of the donkey. All you got to do is get a real scholar. See, I don't diss nothing. See, Nick Cannon was on this show. He brought Professor Griff. See, Professor Griff is like a conspiracy theorist. No disrespect to him. They got on there talking all that anti-Semitic, and a scholar, an educator could have came out there with all their books and said, yes, bring the Jewish professor on here. Sit it down. Let's open up these Jewish encyclopedias. Now let's deal with it. And let me give where this so-called anti-Semitic came from. They'd be like, cut the camera. Can I talk to you in the background, Sheik? See? Because it already done happened. So I just wanted to share that with us, man. I just wanted to share that with us. I don't want to keep going on. I open the floor. But can a Negro, Black, and Color, can we get reparations? Not when you acting like that when you a Negro. You can't.
Because sovereignty is not for a person, but for a people.
Come on. When a person, see, now you teaching again, Brian. So let's deal with it again. So when the Moors talk about, oh, this some sovereign citizen, that's an oxymoron, because you can't be a sovereign and no citizen. That's an oxymoron. And if they say, no, I'm a sovereign citizen, you got to shake that person's hand and walk away, because they is mentally crazy. That's mentally insanity. How are you a sovereign citizen? Explain that. I ain't got to explain it. Yes, you do. The floor is open. Any questions? Anybody can ask any questions?
I have a question.
Absolutely, Empress.
So, thanks for having me. So, when you touched on the subject of church, right? My question came up. I would like to know: is that why you have laws, or I wouldn't even say law. I would say, see, I'm so ignorant.
No, you're not.
Gosh, like the amendment of the separation of church and state.
Ah.
So church is sovereign.
Ah.
Is this how? Was that somewhat what you were getting at?
Ah.
Is that why government can't really touch on church? Separate.
I hate to say you have one of them like yes. This is a like, this is what we do. Yes, this is school, absolutely. The government can't touch church. Your religious rights trump all that. And that's when people are like, well, I'm a nonprofit. And I say, no, we a church. You got to understand vernacular. And so when a person asks you for the record, are you a nonprofit or are you a church? No, we a church, because a nonprofit not a church. A nonprofit is a nonprofit. We are a church, and a church fall under all that nonprofit. We can collect donations. We can do things for services. So yes, our religious laws trump that. Yes. And what we're doing right now, we have the right as religious laws. We say we ain't a part of this. What everybody finna get? Your tribal and your school ID affiliation. Yes, of how we believe. Absolutely.
Islam.
Absolutely.
Islam.
Absolutely. That's a valid question. That's why what we're doing is so important. That's why we ain't tripping on everybody running around making Instagram videos or YouTube videos about some vaccine. Do you see the Mormons doing that? Do you see the Latter-day Saints? They don't care about that. They don't participate in that shit. Never did. They ain't got no contract with them. They ain't got no Section 8.
Church. They don't have to do that.
No. They got their own laws. And based on their religion, based on ours, when you get their paperwork based on our law, according to the Bible and the Quran, we got our rights. That's what I tell people. Like, they don't know. That's why your religion.
So,
go ahead.
No, please. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead, Empress. Go ahead.
No, continue.
No, go ahead. Please.
I was going to ask, in you all's experience, being as seasoned as you all are, has it been tougher on the melanated religions like Islam, Moorish? Has it been tougher on there? Like, you all like more hoops to jump through as compared to churches like Joel Osteen, like Methodist, like Episcopal? Has it been tougher on your end versus that end? Or or like is it just like, okay, whatever, you're falling under tabernacle, you're falling under around the church state, whatever, so be it.
Well, everybody else can give their experience, but I done been through a lot of religious houses because I had to get on a certain level, and I can tell you a lot of like churches, they don't teach nothing. So a man can come and say, I've been called to preach, and so how can you be called to preach without no study? And so a person can be called to teach, and they preach or idiot, and then that idiot ordain them. So it can be a whole misteaching. So far as more science, it can be it falls under the same guidelines. What for myself, I was already in academia. I grew up in IDMR, which is the Institute of Divine Metaphysical Research. All my upbringing with the two texts that when you see me breaking down them charts, I was under already a Gnostic science. I already was familiar with more science. So a lot of these things I was introduced. And so that's why, man, this is so valid. That's why I'll be giving all these things to have people to compare to. Like, for instance, I try to help people and say, hey, did you ask this? Did you ask this? Did you look at this? Did you look at this in the right way to stop you from doing something stupid? So for myself, I had to not gravitate to one teaching where I miss all the science and the essence from the rest. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And that's what this more science is all about. The Quran is knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, and nature. And that's just the surface of the Quran.
I mean, like paperwork wise, was it more tougher on you all being of a darker tone and doing what you're doing?
Well, Empress, see, now you get into the meat and potatoes. See, I'm glad you said that. So, okay, so let's deal with it. So let's deal with Baptists. Let's deal with Baptists, because that's all religion is orchestrated of Europeans. See, I'd have been all the belly of the beast. So when you talk about paperwork, Baptist, Southern Baptist, all that, you getting your paperwork from the Baptist Congress when you go on that level. So it's a dogma. And so when we talk about church Christianity, that's not gospel. That you don't when you go to seminary, you are training to what? To on your knees, that all outside, and that's not what the scripture says. So when a person say paperwork, I have to be clear, like what paperwork? Some ordination, some said some because that's all you're gonna get from a church is some ordination if you're not gonna go through academia, if you're not gonna have nothing. Go ahead.
I mean like going through the state and federal realms. Like, were they tougher on you all because of it's different and it's a darker complexion versus probably like First Baptist Church, you know, we got the mouth of the carcass type people, they're going in, they're like, all right, we're church, we want to go and get this started. Was it more tougher on you all, or were you all more like cut, dry, super easy because you know who you are, you know your rights, and that's it? Like, did they try and have y'all jump through ropes?
Well, what you mean? Like for me, like what? Coming through the temple? Like what you mean? Like my experience through churches or experience through the temple or what?
Like as far as making Burning Bush Tabernacle, getting it established.
There you go. That's the good question. Now you're making it plain. Well, for myself, as an educator coming through the temple, I'm from Arizona. So when I first came to Arizona, I had a metaphysical temple myself. And I met Moors, I met Grand Sheiks, and they didn't have nowhere to be at. So they didn't know that I already was communicating with people in Chicago. But so make a long story short for myself, it's really no hoops when I say you can get anything when people come together, Empress. When the heart is not right, you can fall for the dogma things. So that's what I'm telling you. I like for myself. I don't want to keep saying me because I can't do it myself. But myself and my nobles, how can I say it? We established the Burning Bush Tabernacle the same way you established a church, the same way Noble Drew Ali established it, a bodily politic. We established. So for my brothers, it's nothing you have to jump through to be a part of this. You must be willing to be a student and stand on your square. It's no initiation. It's no close your eye and blindfold and put your head in the toilet and think you grabbing some doo-doo and it's a banana. See, this ain't none of that goofy shit. This ain't no hoop. This ain't none of that. It's loyalty, it's honesty. It's the teachers that get you there. It's just like if I was a martial arts teacher. It ain't no hoops I'm gonna have you do, because you're gonna take yourself to the gulp. So you're going to take yourself through. It's going to be your passion. I'm just a guide in a map. You either all the way in or you will humbly bow out. So for me, establish the Burning Bush Tabernacle, that's something that I established for a group of Moors that don't have to go through that Moors that done went through places, and I say, well, go to the temple and see what it's like. And they say, it's like church. So I established a school for Moors that I reveal everything. And once we get everybody on a steady base, and once everybody here, then I start having all the books that we have, the 7 books, we'll start having systematic classes. But everybody got to work together. It got to be systemized. So what we're doing is we're teaching, we're building up, and we're coming together, building the perfected man up. So it's no hoops you got to jump in with us, Empress. I can't talk about nothing else. I can talk about the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. It ain't no hoops you got to jump through. It ain't no, oh, you got to go through no ritual. It ain't no, oh, we got to test you. It ain't no trickery. It ain't no, oh, I'm finna go with some damn riddles. None of that, sister. It ain't none of that. I want to be clear with a silver tongue. It ain't no initiation. It ain't no dumb shit you will have to do, but be who you are. And love yourself and be a part of the movement and grow and be yourself and be okay with being who you are. Because nobody can give you, can nobody give you no paper to see who you are. I can't give you no paper and say you better than who you are. You who you are. See, a piece of paper, that's just an outward appreciation, like my fucking college degree. That shit don't mean nothing. So I can't make you something. When I say nobody can make you a Moor, only thing a person can make you is a Freemason. See? You do it yourself. So the only requirement that we consider you is be family. Let's build. Let's do this. Let's show the people that we can do this. Be who you are. Be okay with being who you are. Be okay with being an Empress. Be okay when can't nobody give you no paperwork and say you an Eastern Star. You ain't got to join no Negro stuff to talk about, well, I got to go through these initiations to be an Eastern Star. You already an Eastern Star. The science you getting from me, it trumpet, and they know it. You're going to get your white fez undefiled with the gold tassel. That's you. You're going to be able to break that wisdom down to them so easily. They're going to shake your hand and walk away. Some of them might sit on their hands when you talk. Some of them might do one of these and walk away. Some of them might do like this as you get to going. Some of them might do this. And you shed their lie, not in the way of like that, but in a way that you know who you are. You are the Eastern Star. You are the star from the East. They know what I'm saying. And so you don't have to jump through no hoops to do that. What I'm doing is resurrecting you. Your brother is holding your hand. These are our teachings. The fairs is ours. Everybody know it. All this teaching, all the Masonic teaching, this moral science, this religion is all ours. And it ain't no hoops you got to go through. I want you to know that. It ain't no hoops. And my brothers can speak. It ain't no hoops. All you got to do is be you. Be honorable. Allah is in your heart. Go ahead, Noble.
If I can't know what to share.
Yes.
Also to add on to what you said to the Empress, before it gets to that, all of that paperwork and really on the national side, the divine comes first. And I would just want to read an excerpt real quick from The Light of Ali, one of Sheik's books that really kind of put all of us in the mindset and the spirit in which you come into the science, right? So that way we keep our foot planted on firm ground. It says the information, this knowledge that should be manifest into wisdom, something applicable, meaning something that can be used and applied to daily living. When Moors and Empresses know or are in the know, and subsequently this information transferred to wisdom is power. Theoretically, the absence or lack of power is directly or indirectly attached to the lack of wisdom or insight and the ability to make righteous decisions. Moors or Empresses should understand the importance of adapting and growing mentally, spiritually, and physically. We must become educated and proficient in different areas of science and business in order to place our offspring, our homes, in a position of thriving educationally, economically, forcing a large change where, in society, Moors cannot afford to continue to let others educate our children, teaching them pseudoscience and academia, debilitating understanding of why they need some form of applicable education. So I say that, and I say Islam with that because I believe that's where we need to be starting in the foundation of coming into the science and understanding that business as well as science is critical to the economy and the commerce and that we deal with in the relationships with each other. So we need to get right there first and understand that mentally, spiritually, and physically, we must be right. We must be purified. As our holy prophet said, we are a clean and pure nation. We must manifest that. So I say that to you and all of us, that when we think about this science and when we come in the door, when we have questions, that we must be right in the heart first. Then everything will be added unto you. Islam?
Islam, noble.
Islam.
Islam.
If also, if I can also add on to what she was saying, and also to what Noble Lonzo was saying, when it comes to the heart, it's only one law. You know, it doesn't really matter if you're black or quote unquote melanated or quote unquote Albion. It's only one law that applies to the human race. You know what I'm saying? It's only one law. So it's not when you subscribe to certain I guess doctrines, in a sense, certain things can be added or taken away from you in a sense, or can be veiled to you. But when you know who you are and you're prescribing to the true law, everything is open to you because everything is available to you. So it's about being, how Noble was saying, being pure in heart, being with that oneness. And that's all I was just basically saying. It's not really about, black, white. It's, it's about being right in law.
Islam.
Islam, Noble.
Islam.
Thank you for saying that.
Islam. Anybody else? We good? Anybody? Like I said, when people want to speak, speak. Like I said, I wanted to stop, even though we went. Anybody wanted? Like I said, this is what it's for. We learned a lot, and our words help. And the words, when it comes from multiple people, like especially when we live on social media, a lot of people, they don't know us. They jump on here. So when a lot of times I want us to get comfortable in speaking, so a person can see how Allah is manifested in your life. Like when I tell y'all, we all ministers. Like we can't just we got to come out that shell. So Allah is doing wonders in everybody's life. So if Allah doing wonders in your life, it should be okay for you to express those things because your words can help someone else. Just that little word is just like money. When it's coming pure, that's the analogy with not giving you a fish, but showing you how to fish and feed your family. Man, my words can give you inspiration. My touch can quicken the spirit. Just being around in that presence of a person that'll drive you, give you inspiration and recharge you and get you back on that bike. So when Allah is in the heart, see, we are divine ministers first. We're supposed to spread this gospel. So if Allah is in us, when we live, we got to let the people know what Allah's doing to us. If we in that word,
Islam.
especially when new people comes in, they should be able to hear from everyone without a problem, with no problem, with a drop of a hat. Be like, why could this in us? And just give an encouraging word. I used to say that when I used to train my ministers and things. I said, you can't just give an encouraging word. You can't get up there and put some anointing on a person. Like, Allah not working in your heart. Because you should be able to break that down in layman terms and use those words at any time. Why? Because it's in you. And that's what you go to. Your toolbox, which our Morse Quran clearly speaks of. Chapter 5. So it's starting at verse 11. Our workman tools. Our workman tool is perfecting us. So it should be okay for us to explain to our people and the world what Allah is. Allah doing something in everyone's life? Yes or no?
Yes. Islam.
Islam.
It shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem for when we have new people, for the new people can hear, because our emperors ain't even heard from some people. And that's why I said we got to, it's certain things we have to come out. Allah has to work on you to get us out of those things. See, we can't go to the next level until we get out of things that may be hindering us. When I talk about introvert and extrovert, it's some things that we got to get off. Because if our mission, as we come enlightened into the know, our mission is to what? To spread the gospel, to teach our divine creed and nationality. Y'all are disciples of what? This gospel. Point blank. That's why I tell Morris, who are you around? You can't be around people that don't want to hear what you're saying. You got to be in the right manifestation. You got to really dive in your bosom. So as I leave that, we got to really be able to be okay in our life, exhume how Allah is working for us. Just like if someone say, hey, Kari, You a point guard, and they say, what do a point guard do? I can break down everything in a point guard. I can go so excited, like Amore, break down LeBron James and all his stats right now. You can break down all LeBron James stats, all the teams he played for, all the layups he missed, all the free throws he missed, but you can't break down your science, and you can't break down how Allah has touched your spirit.
Islam.
See? And that's what I'll be saying with it. We'll be all in somebody's business about what they got on and if they necklace real, or if they got on a fake Gucci belt. But here it is, you and more, you can't, we'll get up there, what have Allah done for you? Nothing. See? And that's the thing, man, you got to be able to speak that. You got to be able to speak this stuff to existence. I'll be telling more the divine come first. When I talk about this, you can't even speak it to existence, but I bet you know everything about your favorite basketball team. I bet you know who got rookie, who got drafted. You know all that. But when it comes to you say what you love, Empress, and a person love, they can't even give it to you. And that's why I be telling them, if a man can't break this down and tell you what he love, because a person will tell you what they love, because love is an action word. I love this. When I tell you, I'm going to tell you, what about me? You ask me, I'm going to be able to break it down eloquently, because I say I love it.
I can't either. But I would say I love it, but I can't break it down either.
But you will. But that. Go ahead, Noble.
Hey, one thing I wanted to say in regards to the Empress, just to hear her speak, she when she was talking about sovereignty, just to see that interaction between the higher self and the lower self in real time is amazing. And she talked about it in the form of a question, but she was illuminating herself while she didn't even end up asking a question. She illuminated me with what she was saying, and I didn't get that pivot point until she illuminated, like, between church sovereignty and what we're doing with the Burning Bush Temple. And just to hear it, hey, I got in my own spirit, I'm like, man, did you see that? You doubt yourself real hard on yourself, but when you allow that your higher self to speak, it comes out. And then she started off asking a question, but it wasn't even a question. She answered it.
See? Ooh, respect. That's why I love Noble.
And then to think that you was just asking about resurrection. You was just asking about resurrection. It's like, that's your sign right there. You being illuminated. And with every interaction, you see there's a higher level that you're going to. And look, I'm a witness of that, just in these Zoom meetings and just conversating about it, just being illuminated. You see it.
See, sometimes we have, yes.
And gratitude for illuminating me today.
Gratitude for having me.
And see, that's why these conversations be real. And I say we can get in all the books and read and all that, but then we got to have a conversation to make it real. Like Empress, when I be like how I teach, a teacher when a student is answering a question, I can have you bring out the answer in the question that you ask. By me asking you the right questions to have you be like, wait a minute, and be like, huh? I call that the aha moment. That's why I was like, aha, the light bulb moment. See, that light bulb moment, that aha moment is understanding. That aha, that illumination. So as you're asking a question, I'm asking it back to you so you can answer your own question so it can be real, so you know where to find it. You answered your question in the question. I just pushed you to put yourself in the realm of, like Noble was saying, hey, you based it off law, the right question. And when it's almost like if you asking a computer the right question, say if you're dealing with stats, and you got to put the right information in the computer, but you think you're doing all the wrong. The computer gonna give you all the right information back based off what you put in, right?
Right.
Same thing. That's why a teacher and a guide, he will not only tell you, he will show you the way and be like, listen, I can show you how to get there. I won't just tell. So gratitude like I said, I've been illuminated. This stuff be for me, y'all. Like, I love it. That's why I love to hear people speak how Allah done for them. I'm a divine minister first. I'll be wanting to know something if Allah worked, if I'm saying something to inspire you, because sometimes you don't hear from people. And so then you wonder. I told y'all, man, I'm a God man. I have to do that. Just like I was telling myself, man, you was on my spirit. See, I can say things and the person be like, how you know? Because I probably can say some things to Empress. She'd be like, how the hell he know that? How? Because I'm in tune with things. I bet you I can say, I know. That's off the stuff that you say. I bet you be like, yeah. I know where you've been. I know what happened. It's a lot of things based off you say. I know a lot of trust be broken from men. Am I lying?
Excuse me?
I know a lot of men lie. A lot of relationships been broken from men, and they be untrustworthy and let us down. Especially with women that be encouraging. Your strength is intimidating. A lot of things what you do is intimidating for a person that's, how can I say it? Articulate and astute as you. That's intimidating to a person that ain't on that level. That's intimidating to other family members. You think you different, and you not. You normal. That's the problem. Everybody else messed up. You doing what you're supposed to do. So ain't nothing wrong with you. See? Ain't nothing wrong with you. I don't know what nobody told you. I don't know why nobody tell you that somewhere ain't shit wrong with you. See, I'm a healer. My cousin with me, Isis, she'll testify. She'll start crying. She here with me for a reason. I go grab people. You ain't got to tell me. If I see a plug, I go to it. I go get your ass. She'll tell you. Because that's who I am. I don't live this life. That's why I said a God, man, that ain't going to talk about no money. He should be able to touch you and heal you. A God, man, should be able to feed you. Your spirit. A God, man, should be able to take what he has and say he willing to break that shit with you for you can have something. That's what a God, man, do. A God, man, to take his and spread that shit with everybody for everybody can eat some shit. That's what a God, man, do. A God, man, to open his house. That's what a God, man, do. So ain't nothing wrong with you, Empress. You just gotta get with the right crew, baby. You just gotta get with the right family.
I think the hurtful part, and not just for myself, but for males as well, the hurtful part is having a man let you down, and you thinking that's a leader. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
That's the letdown.
Empress.
I think I can speak for.
Empress. And see, and they jump out of the text, and in the Bible, it's qualifications of a pastor. They miss that. See, it's something got to do with the heart, Empress. And that's why a lot of people run from this stuff. That's why a lot of people be weird, and you have every right to tread lightly. I recommend that to tread lightly. I recommend you to tread lightly. I recommend you to ask all these questions. I recommend you research the researcher. I cater to you. You my at. You fall in humanity. I must. Without you is no me. We must protect you. We must anoint you. We must put you back on the planet. That's our obligation. We gotta have empresses in this movement to give us this balance. I don't want to be around all men, but see, Empress, I'm gonna be honest and I'll let everybody go. I have women in my movement, and I just gotta be transparent. And some women that be broken, they try to come in it and try to cover it up instead of heal. And they try to take, and then get destroyed. And they don't want to make things right. And that's the ego a lot of men have. You know you lying. Instead of you getting it right, saying hey man, I don't apologize, I was wrong. We're just going with the lie. And stop talking to family or some way. And know you wrong. So you were this way. I ain't talked to my family in 2 years. They did me wrong. And then when the person say, well, let me analyze, they like, they ain't did you wrong. You lied. And so you, instead of you getting it right, you stayed away for 10 years. You see?
Right.
And so I give you gratitude, Empress. Yes, it hurts. And I say, I'm a God man. I do so much. And I do so much for people. If you're in a situation, just like I always get an analogy, if a person in college, I try to help you save. I help college students save thousands. I give shit away and I give. And then when a person that wants you to keep giving, it's like, damn, when you tell a person no, it's like all the stuff I did is void. All the stuff I did for you is void. When you in time of need, when you talk to me on the sidebar and I said, I'll take care of this, I'll do all that. You forget all that. I ain't the one that lets you down. I ain't your dad. You see? Yeah. Don't look at me as the dude that let you down, as that husband that you that got kids. I ain't that one. Look at me as a brother. Look at me as a brother, as a God man. And that's what I told you from the jump, Empress. I said, you ain't never God. I'm a God. I'm a brother to you. Mm-hmm. I'm a brother. I'm not nobody's husband. And I tell women, don't look at me as your man. Like, oh, you sexy. So I know I'm sexy. My wife tell me I work out for a reason. This ain't no perverse shit with me. I ain't finna be calling you on the side. You be like, damn, why she calling me late night at 3 a.m. talking about how I look good working out? You gonna be like, what the fuck? See, I don't play that. I can talk like that. I can talk like that, Empress. I can talk like that because I call that shit out. That's why I said I can't be a part of no group. And so that's the other part of why I created my own. That's the other aspect. Because I be calling that shit out. My Empress will tell you, she made me as a minister. And I used to call that shit out. I'd be like, oh, this is some bullshit. Ooh, Reverend Cursing. I said, oh, it's some bullshit. You lying, you trying to sleep with my girl, which is your wife's sister. You see? And I'm a minister in the church. Hold on, Pastor, you married to my wife's sister. You trying to bang my girl. And she's scared to say something. Man, I'm telling.
But people fall for that power.
That ain't no power.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah.
When people are in a position of power,
I know.
Like I'm not being argumentative.
I know, Empress.
People are in a position of power, and then you have another individual who is not confident within themselves, and they're not in touch as they should be with Allah. You're gonna that's always gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
It's until a person is aware of their higher self and they know their self-value and their self-worth, and they do a lot of shadow work. Until they do all of that, they always gonna do grimy shit like that. See? And it takes that person who's in a position of power to cut the head off that snake. A lot of people won't do that because because that person in position of power, he's like, oh my God, they so confident. It's not, it's ego. And up under that ego is a very, very wounded person who's probably worse off than that person that you're doing the grimy shit with.
Always.
It's always, you always gonna have that dark.
And that's sad. And they know, and that's why I only can talk for myself, Empress. And that's why I only can talk for myself, and I can try to heal as a divine minister. I don't say I'm just a man. I don't do that. I hold myself to a high standard, and that's why I hold everybody else to a high standard. You know, and like you said, that work, that magic work, what you just said, when I say, and the same thing said about that magic work, I'm just using different words. When I say I'm in a laboratory with my test tubes and my beakers, you saying the same thing I'm saying. So absolutely, you got to really be in it, and you got to really control that higher self, because things that come at you, like you said, in that power, women. Man, Empress, women to come at you and throw themselves at you. My Empress, I used to come home. I wish my Empress was here. I used to come home and be like, babe, this woman ain't right. My wife would be like, boy, you crazy. And I talk about it in the pulpit. I used to have cameras everywhere. You can't come meet me, woman. And see, because I'm the type of person, Empress, I didn't get into this to make me or to say I'm going to get this from this or I'm going to get these women. Before all this, I was already doing this. I already was a businessman. I came from a family, so I didn't create this to do this. Allah gave me a mission. And Allah made me put everything down. I could have pursued PhDs in business. I was already in a sector. I could have been working on Silicon Valley. I know about all stocks. I'm educating this shit. That's why I be laughing. I'm like, don't get caught up in this. I ask a person one thing about stocks and bonds. They'll be like, oh, wait, can I talk to you on the side? No.
Why on the side?
Because because what happens when you start telling the truth, they know they've been lying to people for forever. They want to talk to you on the side, they'll tell the truth. They don't want you to mess their money up. So they'll try to talk to you on the side until they don't want to mess that lying up. So that's why I'm here. And I jump right out and I cut the head off every time. So that's why I'm here. And so the gospel that we're teaching is for the enlightened ones. Everybody else is falling under the satanic spirit or the so-called Antichrist. Think about it.
Came from...
Go ahead, Empress. I know you got a lot of questions. It's fine. We just freestyling.
When you came from, and I can't just say you, but anyone else who would like to chime in, please feel free to do so. This not my my floor or anything. I just would like to know when you are separated from that organized religion, right, and came over to being sovereign. Did that how do I say it? Did that make you like think in your mind or have your higher self go off and just say, hey, it's time for some serious shadow work. It's time for some doving in. Or was that transition from organized religion over to Islam? Was that something that is kind of like it woos the ego more? And, you still got them skeletons in the closet. You still have that unhealed, whatever the case may be going on.
Somebody else can answer that. Go ahead.
I could chime in on that and real quick. As we close out, it doesn't matter what you were part of, right? If the temple ain't right, listen. That's what we've been saying all night. You can be under any banner and auspices that you claim, but if you don't do your own self-improvement and take it upon yourself to study yourself, then it really would amount to naught. Honestly, it would amount to naught. So it is not classified as where you came from or where you going. It's what's your motivation.
Islam, Noble.
Islam.
And we've been 2 hours in, so let's close, man, because Empress, we just got a lot of work to do. And then we don't jump through hoops. And more science is not Islam. Like I said, more science is not Christianity, it's not Islam, it's not no Egyptology, it's no religion. And that's why I say Islamism, more science, God and man is one. I self law and master, arm, leg, arm, head. So I want to be clear. This is not no religious dogma, so we don't fall under no body orthodox tenets. We don't fall under no al-Islam. We don't fall under we don't fall under none of that stuff. We don't fall under that. It's no ritual, it's none of that. Some people come from no organized religion. Some people come from a background of Christianity, background of Islam. I done been through the backgrounds to know how to put it together. So it's the inner thing, and Allah will take to heart where it needs to be. And I like to end with that, man. So gratitude to everybody questioned today. I love y'all. What's tomorrow? Friday. I know what Saturday we be working out. I'll be there for our business meeting tomorrow. I love everyone, man. And let's just keep doing the work, man. Self-improving. But great questions, Empress. None of your questions, don't ever think your questions or you getting on anyone's nerves. There's nothing wrong with that. If I'm a teacher, I should be able to, if I'm a teacher, I should be able to not tell you what I believe or think. I should be able to instruct you where to answer your question. For you can understand it, for you can touch it, for you can pick it up and smell it. That he ain't just telling you, because man don't know, woman don't know by being told.
Islam.
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, my salvation, by night and by day. Yours holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Shalom Malakim, Aya Ash'aya, Hotep, Islam, peace, 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 peace.
Alonzo, you feel like that benediction, Noble? I know I've been knowing you lately. Do you feel like giving that benediction, Noble?
Yes, sir.
Gratitude, man. Gratitude. You know that warmed my heart, man. I just like your voice. You remind me of one of them people on TV that can do commercials. Yes, this is Alonzo Bay. This is 92.7 Morris Radio. And I'm here with my brother, my sheep, Goodman Bay. And we're today going to break down the 13th and the 14th and the 15th.
Gratitude, family. As closing prayers, may the benediction of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou shouldst strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun thine evil ones. Remember, to take succor of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be the shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal death. For behold, the key to salvation already rests within thine own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there still is the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Ya Haq, Ya Muhammad. Islam, Ashe. Peace, 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 peace,
Peace, peace, peace, family. Love y'all, man. Islam.
love,
Peace.
love.
Peace, family. Peace, Empress. Islam.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace. I know we went a little longer. So like I'm saying, man, if Morris want my PDF books, I've gathered and compiled 9 science books that'll give you the basics. If you want those, it's only a $75 donation to Cash App, $KGBEY. You screenshot that and send the email to Goodman, GOODMANKHARY @gmail.com. A screenshot of that donation, and I have one of my muftis PDF you all of my books, and I'll give you a free copy of the Quran. And you can start getting all your books from me for smaller donations. You can go on Amazon and see how much they cost. Nobles, I got a letter right now, a Marcus Garvey letter. You can go on Amazon right now. They charge $4,000 because they put it in a cheap frame. I got the letters. Go on Amazon and look up Marcus Garvey letter. It's on Amazon right now for about $4,000 because it's in a picture frame. I got them. Because connections in different libraries and institutions and people, private museums. So with that being said, man, I love everyone. Check out our temple and school page. It's bbtsciencetemple.com. bbtsciencetemple.com. And also our business page is moorishhaberdasher.com. And you can get all your Moorish American regalia and much, much more. Fezzes, everything. We put new items on there every day. It's Moorish, MOORISH, haberdasher, HABERDASHER.com. And you can get all your Moorish American regalia and much, much more. We got nice shoes, everything. I'm a businessman. So gratitude for everyone. If you like the teachings, if you want to give us small donations, do that and send an email, and I'll send you a book. I have no problem with that. Anytime any more send a donation, I will give you literature. I have no problem with that. I have a full library. With that being said, peace, light, and illumination. And I love everyone, man. Islam.